Chapter 183 Body of Fire Spirit. Kang Chon laughed coldly at his words. His icy cold eyes flashed with a brilliant blade, and that sharp gaze, like to knife blades, shot towards Wuxia. Wuxia coldly locked eyes with it, and the eyes of the two stirred up a violent energy fluctuation in midair. Kang Chon, you still owe me a battle. At this moment, Zhao Wuji's golden eyes erupted with powerful battle intent as his figure suddenly appeared in front of Kang Chon. Before Kang Chon could say anything, Wuxia's complexion turned cold, and his icy eyes stared at Zhao Wuji as he said in a deep voice, "Zhao Wuji, you are challenging my bottom line. So what?" Zhao Wuji looked at Wuxia indifferently. Wuxia's face instantly became gloomy, and the cold killing intent escaped from his eyes. The crowd in the distance all closed their breaths and looked intently at the three people holding each other in midair. It was obvious that both Wuxia and Zhao Wuji were going to fight Kang Chon. Both of them were very strong and neither of them were giving in to each other. The atmosphere in the arena was instantly tense. Kang Chon, Wuxia and Zhao Wuji, the three of them were presenting a triangle in mid-air facing each other, and above their heads were three powerful transformed ideas. Ha ha ha, what an interesting scene. Since all three of you are so belligerent, then let the three of you fight together. Ha he. This is a rare opportunity. We are all very much looking forward to it. Suddenly, a loud laugh came out. The crowd turned their heads to look. The one who spoke was none other than the smiling Easy, only to see him playfully looking at the three in midair. Dowie, what do you think? Easy finished speaking and looked towards the white-clothed youth on the side. The gazes of the crowd followed suit, and everyone's eyes were filled with awe. This white-clothed youth was the #1 powerhouse of the subterranean dragon ranking, Dowie. Even if he was as strong as Wuxia, in these few years, he was unable to shake Dowie's position, thus showing how powerful Dowie was. Dowie was dressed in a white robe with a small green sword stuck above his hair. His eyebrows were very thick, and his deep eyes were like an endless starry sky that wanted to trap everyone in it. He indifferently looked at Easy and slowly said, "Why don't you fight Zhao Wuji?" At his words, Easy stuttered, and then he couldn't help but smile as he laughed. "So you want to watch the four of us? So be it, I'll fulfill you." After saying that, Easy rose up into the sky, his powerful aura spreading across the sky, as he appeared opposite Zhao Wuji, tightly locking him in place. Zhao Wuji frowned. "Zhao Wuji, is it alright for you and I to fight?" Easy smiled faintly as he looked towards Zhao Wuji. Zhao Wuji glanced at the not-too-distant sky, then at Easy, and a hint of hesitation flashed in his eyes. At this moment, a familiar voice rang in Zhao Wuji's ears. "Brother Zhao, you can fight with Easy first. After I kill Wuxia, then I'll fight with you." It was Kang Chon's voice, and his words were filled with confidence. Zhao Wuji looked deeply at Kang Chon, then looked towards Easy and said, "Please." After saying that, his figure headed towards the distance ******* and stopped atop a lonely peak. Easy smiled gently and also greeted him. With this, only Wuxia and Kang Chon were left in midair. "No one can intervene in our fight anymore. Make your move. I'll give you a chance to make your move, because you only have this one time." Wuxia was very strong. His gaze was full of arrogance, and he did have the strength to be arrogant. "Arrogance. This will be the reason why you lose the battle today," Kang Chon said coldly, then slowly drew out the long blade behind him. A domineering blade intent rose up to the sky, creating a compelling might. "I wonder if your strength is as powerful as your mouth." Wuxia laughed coldly as a dazzling red light emanated from his body, followed by bursts of scorching flames, causing his entire body to become a fire god. "You'll know later." Kang Chon smiled coldly. The true essence in his body immediately boiled up. The golden true essence was like a sizzling flame that burned up on his body surface. He raised his long black blade high. The golden light erupted above the black blade, like it was coming to life. I'm looking forward to it. I hope you can make me enjoy myself, but don't even last half an hour. Wuxia looked arrogant. His icy gaze was filled with killing intent. He fiercely took a step out. A powerful intent erupted. The violent energy caused the surrounding space to vibrate violently, as if it was about to collapse. Is your strength merely that? It's the same 50% intent realm. Your intent attack is useless against me. Feeling the powerful intent that erupted from Wuxia, Kang Qian said indifferently. Is that so? Wuxia couldn't help but reveal a cold smile as he heard this, his eyes slightly mocking as he looked towards Kang Qian. And in the next moment, the intent on his body became even more powerful. Boom, like a sound of heavenly thunder, Wuxia's intent condensed into a golden lance in the sky, exuding an unrivaled might. Kang Qian's eyes narrowed. A trace of gravity surfaced in his gaze as he coldly said, "No wonder you are so arrogant. So you have already comprehended 60% of the intent realm." Although his face was bland, his heart was already incomparably grave. When intent reached the back, it was very hard to go further. But with each step, the intent would be strengthened by a lot. A 60% realm's intent was definitely far superior to a 50% realm's intent. Make your move, remember. This will be your last battle. Wuxia's eyes were filled with cold killing intent. Kang Qian's expression was grave. The black long sword in his hand erupted with a blazing light, like a scaly dragon rushing out from it, and then turned into an incomparably bright sword aura, chopping towards Wuxia. Is that all? What a disappointment. A trace of disdain flashed through Wuxia's eyes. A blood-red spear appeared in his hand at an unknown time, and with just a single shot, he shattered Kang Qian's blade aura. Kang Qian did not have any surprises and continued to swing his sword towards Wuxia to kill him. Just now was merely his test. Naturally, he did not hope to kill Wuxia in one move. Wasting this opportunity to strike, you will suffer the punishment of death. Wuxia looked at the coming Kang Qian. His eyes suddenly shone brightly, and the long spear of intention above his head violently headed towards the Kang Qian with such a powerful force that the space around him trembled. Not far away, everyone looked at this scene in shock. 60% realm idea attack. This is the first time they have seen it. Rumble. 60% realm idea attack is very powerful. That golden lance condensed by the peerless idea, like a meteor, with matchless energy fluctuations, towards the Kang Qian and down. This strike is like divine punishment. The power is matchless. See the crowd watching the battle below are all appalled. Worthy of being Wuxia, the second strongest person on the subterranean dragon ranking is true to his name. Kang Qian stared in anticipation, not daring to be the slightest bit careless. While Kang Qian and Wuxia were fighting in the splendid Heavenly Dao Hall, a group of Heavenly Dao sect sealed elders were also watching the scene with full attention. One with 60% intent and one with 50% intent. The difference isn't that big. This move should be able to force out the full strength of both of them. In the middle of the Great Hall, a seal elder smiled faintly. The same goes for Zhao Wuji and Easy on the other side. I didn't expect this great Tang country to produce the supreme geniuses. What a surprise. The Guardian Elder smiled and said, in the four-sided crystal in the center of the Great Hall, two thrilling battles were displayed. One was the battle between Kang Qian and Wuxia, and the other was between Zhao Wuji and Easy. These two battles were different and similar. On this side, Kang Qian's 50% intent was against Wuxia, who had 60% intent. And on that side, Zhao Wuji, who had 50% intent, was against Easy, who had 60% intent. And the situation was more or less the same. None of these four can die. Suddenly, the voice of the Heavenly Dao sect patriarch came out from within the white light. All the sealed elders in the hall immediately looked at the sovereign, and the Guardian Elder laughed. Don't worry, Sovereign, the law enforcement elders will projection is within the Heaven's Path demon, sealing ranking, and he will be the first to put a stop to it if these 4 little guys are in danger. The elders secretly nodded their heads as they heard this. With the talent of Kangchon's 4, their future achievements were all unlimited. They would all be the future powerhouses of the Heavenly Tao sect, so naturally they couldn't die at this time. In fact, when Kangchon came to the demon locking tower, the Elder of Law Enforcement's will projection had already appeared within the demon locking tower. No matter who of the 4 Kangchon's life was in danger, he would be able to save them at the first opportunity. A blazing golden light burned around his body. Terrifying energy fluctuations were turbulent within the space. Kangchon, who was dressed in purple robes, was like a god of war, and his ice-cold eyes stared tightly at Wuxia on the opposite side of the room. Boom! The lance of 60% of the intent instantly killed. The powerful force pierced through the layers of emptiness, destroying, generally drowning Kangchon in the volatile energy. Drink, Kangchon shouted, and his entire body rushed up into the sky. Boom! Powerful intent erupted from Kangchon, condensing into a blazing blade in midair, meeting *********, the long spear that came. The 2 powerful intent suddenly collided in the sky. 50% of intent was ultimately inferior to 6 layers of intent. Kangchon was immediately knocked away, a trace of blood flowing from the corner of his mouth. The crowd of young geniuses below watched this scene with unblinking eyes, each face filled with gravity. Both Kangchon and Wuxia were far more powerful than them. A strike of 60% of intent surprisingly only caused Kangchon to suffer a light injury. This Kangchon's intent realm is not as good as Wuxia's, but his intent is very solid. A strong person on the subterranean dragon ranking exclaimed in admiration. Everyone else watched the battle with bated breath. Wuxia, who was holding a blood-red lance, stood proudly in the void, his gaze arrogantly looking at Kangchon. A touch of complacency flashing in his eyes, obviously very satisfied with the strike he had just made. Boom! Suddenly a powerful aura descended from overhead, and then without waiting for Wuxia to react, a huge golden palm covered and came, like a huge mountain, suppressing and instantly bombarding Wuxia into the ground. Rumble! The earth trembled violently. The golden palm carried unrivaled energy, smashing a deep pit in the ground, while Wuxia's figure was buried at the bottom of the pit. The people watching the battle were all shocked. Many of them were seeing Kangchon perform the heaven escaping hand for the first time, and their hearts were overwhelmed with horror. Even some of the sealed elders in the Heavenly Tao sect's Great Hall were shocked beyond belief. What a powerful divine ability, directly shattering the void. Cultivators below the divine separation stage simply can't defend against it. A Seal Elder marveled. The other Seal Elders were also astonished. The origin of this divine ability is not recorded even by our Heavenly Tao sect. It should be the divine ability of a cultivator from the ancient times. This divine ability directly communicates with the power of space. Although it doesn't have the power to shatter the void itself, it still manages to traverse space. It's truly astonishing, the Guardian Elder said. However, this strike doesn't do much damage to Wuxia. The first match between the 2 sides is considered a draw. Another Seal Elder laughed. Rumble! The earth trembled. Then an angry roar came out from the ground. And in the next moment, a powerful figure rose up into the sky. And it was none other than Wuxia. Wuxia was surrounded by a scorching flame glow. His icy cold eyes stared at the sky. A trace of blood flowed out from the corner of his mouth. His face was incomparably gloomy as he said, "Good divine ability. What is the name of this divine ability?" "Heaven Escaping Hand," Kangchon said indifferently. The crowd watching the battle below also simultaneously remembered the 3 words Heaven Escaping Hand. Everyone's eyes were filled with envy. They were all peak youth powerhouses. Naturally they knew the dreadfulness of this divine ability, the Heaven Escaping Hand.